Hey everybody, hope you're doing good. If you're new around here, hi, my name is Abby and I'd love to do makeup and skincare related content, more on the affordable side. And if you're not new, you already know this. Thank you so much for coming back to watch another video. So in today's video, I wanted to continue with my sunscreen, I want to say demo slash testing series. So in today's video, I will be testing the Neutrogena Clear Face Oil-Free Sunscreen SPF 30. And this is what it looks like. So I found out about this particular sunscreen from a couple YouTube videos I watched a while back, and obviously Neutrogena, being Neutrogena, have a ton of sunscreen. This particular one I think is quite highly recommended by some dermatologists because again it's targeted at people with acne prone skin and oily skin. So it does actually say on the bottle, #1 dermatologist recommended brand. So it does actually say on the tube, #1 dermatologist recommended brand, and I can see why. So this sunscreen isn't readily available in the UK, but before you click off, if you are from the UK, like I assume the majority of my audience are, you can just go onto Amazon.com and order this. The way I got around, there wasn't really anything too complicated. I ordered because I knew I really wanted to try this just based on some of the reviews I'd seen. I wanted to try this, and I also wanted to try the Sun Bomb face sunscreen, which again has been highly recommended for not by dermatologists in particular, but just like other people on YouTube who have oily skin. So I ordered 2 bottles of that particular sunscreen, and I also ordered 2 bottles of this sunscreen. So that's how I got around and kind of got my cost per shipping, if that makes sense. I think at the time I paid about £11 or £13 VAT I believe, and I think the shipping might have been free, one or the other. So I'll get a screenshot of how much I paid and I'll put that on here, but it definitely averaged out to be about maybe £8 to £10 per bottle. So I ended up with 2 of this and 2 of the Sun Bomb, and because of the price anyway, it was worth it. I think everything came up to about 40 something, yeah, about 40 something pounds for 4 bottles, including like the VAT and shipping and everything, which is great because this particular bottle comes to 88 ml and that is 3.0 fluid ounces. And again, just being Neutrogena, again it's a very highly rated, well trusted brand. And this particular one, I do know not all their sunscreens are made equal, not all of them are great, but this one came highly recommended. So it says it's breakout free, oil free sunscreen on the bottle. So it's made from the Helioplex broad spectrum UVA UVB formulation, which is patented to Neutrogena, and it also says it won't cause breakouts. It's oxybenzone free and it is water resistant up to 18 minutes. What I like about Neutrogena's sunscreens is that they list everything on the back. So it says it's fragrance free, oil free, oxybenzone free, and it lists the active ingredients on the back as well. So it says it contains avobenzone 2.5%, homosalate 8%, octisalate 5%, and octocrylene 8%. So these are all UVA UVB filters, and the combination of them gives you a broad spectrum. And of course, having a broad spectrum sunscreen is great because it not only blocks the UVB rays, which are mostly known for the burning. Obviously when you do get burnt, that is the UVB rays penetrating your skin, obviously causing damage, and the UVA rays, which is more, I want to say, more insidious because it goes deeper, further into your skin. It definitely penetrates deeper into your skin. It actually damages the DNA, and both UVA and UVB cause free radical damage and in time cause aging. So UVA in particular is known for reducing your elastin, collagen, and overall just weakening the skin, just by the amount of damage that it causes over time, and that over time results in wrinkles. So UVA, the best way that most people say to remember which is that UVA is more for anti-aging. Think of aging, not anti-aging, think of aging, wrinkles, which will occur over a long period, whereas the burning is more immediate, because obviously when you get burned you can see that you're burnt. So UVB, burning, UVA, aging, and a couple of other things as well. So its uses, it says it helps prevent sunburn, which we know. It says if used as directed with other sun protection measures, it decreases the risk of skin cancer and early signs of aging caused by the sun. Again, speaking of that as well, sunscreen can only do so much. You do need to try and avoid the sun as much as possible. Obviously that isn't possible if you're out and about, or you've just got life to live in general, like we all do. So again, just making sure you're topping up on your sunscreen, you're wearing the right amount, and you're wearing protective clothing where you can, and that you avoid the sun as much as possible at high times. Typically they say that it's between 10 and 2. So yeah, it says to apply generously and evenly 15 minutes before sun exposure. And it also says to reapply as well as needed, I guess. I've already covered the fact that it's 18-minute it's waterproof up to 18 minutes. And it says obviously you apply it immediately after towel drying if you've been swimming or sweating. And what else? Yeah, it has all of this information actually that I've just mentioned, especially avoiding the sun between the time between 10 and 2. It actually has that on here. So this comes, I love the packaging and the amount of information you get on here. They do give you quite a lot. They squeeze a lot of information on the back of this small bottle, and it says here, wear long sleeve shirts, pants, hats and sunglasses. And it also says children under 6 months of age, you should ask a doctor. Again, obviously you want to just make sure you're storing this properly, store it away from light. You don't leave it like in your car in sunlight, because again, the minute it's open it starts to degrade. And yeah, so that aside, let's get on to the application. So I've already used this quite a few times. I'm just basically going through all my sunscreens, and this one's number is up, so I'm just going to show you how it applies now. Let me just show you how it applies first of all, and then I'll share my thoughts. You can do like the 2-finger, 3-finger method if you want. This is the amount I roughly put. Normally I do this once I've done my skincare routine, after taking a shower in the morning. So you do your skincare routine. The last thing I put on my skin as part of my skincare is my moisturizer, and then the final step is my sunscreen. So this is the amount I have. Sometimes I apply it in 2 steps, sometimes I just apply the globe and just work it in as quickly as possible. So onto the application. I already have my brows on. Normally I probably wouldn't, but I was on autopilot today before I knew my brows were on, but they're fixed, so hopefully they won't get rubbed off when I apply this sunscreen. And obviously you don't want to be having your chain on, so I'm going to find a way to take this off, but I've already got sunscreen on my hands. I was getting ready to leave the house and then I remembered I wanted to film this video, so yeah, here we are. So I'll take a little bit more. So one thing you notice straight off the bat is that there is a level of a slight bit of white cast. This typically isn't even obvious when I'm applying it, so I guess the natural light is telling on me for some reason, picking on me for some reason, I don't know. But I did apply a good amount. Now this isn't usually here, or it's usually not visible, and I applied this sunscreen yesterday and it wasn't too visible, so you just need to give it a bit of time to settle into your skin. So in that time, also you hope you noticed that I didn't apply any to my eye area, and that is because I've used this before and it's not good for the eye area. You don't want to get it into the eye area because it will irritate. Not that it irritates the skin on application, that's fine. What I mean is that if it gets into my eyes at some point just by like rubbing or whatever, I've noticed like it can it can have that kind of stingy effect. So I just avoid it around the eye area. I have my Vichy sunscreen stick, which is the best thing ever for like my eye area, and this is what I use most days anyway, regardless of what the sunscreen is, or if I can't be bothered to see if the sunscreen will behave, like if I'm testing out a new sunscreen and I just don't want to deal with whether or not it can irritate my eyes or get into my eyes when it irritates my eyes. If it can irritate my eyes when it gets into it, I just prefer to use a sunscreen stick. So this is what I use most days. Now you also notice, I hope you can see that it is slowly blending into my skin. It wasn't as white casty as it was when I first started. So as I have been talking, I hope it's, to me anyway, it's looking like it's wearing in. Along the hairline you can see where it's catching on the hairs. What I like to do for this, and I know this kind of seems a bit extra, but because the reason I still like this sunscreen is that it is a matte sunscreen, and I will go above and beyond for a matte sunscreen. Yes, the formula needs to be a bit more elegant, but because it's matte and it does have like almost like a powdery finish to it once it is set, I do prefer to have that. So I don't mind like cleaning up my hairline, and I will use this. This is like slightly more emollient, and I always use this like as a blending step. Or you can use any other sunscreen you have that's like, I don't know, a bit more elegant or a bit more that easily blends in more, and you can use that. And if it gets too messy, just so I'll just try that again. And on days when I'm like indoors as well, I will put it where I know it can crease. Like I said, this isn't like the most elegant formula. So sometimes I find that it also over time, like over a few hours during the day, because of that, I guess, technique, it settles in the creases in my neck just from like looking down and working. So because of that, I like to use another sunscreen just to help that, or if I catch it happening during the day, I'll just like pat it in and it disappears. But that's just another thing, like if you have like creasing for in that area typically, or if you have like defined, like, you know, if you have real wrinkles in that area, you might find that it settles in. So what I do is basically wait for this. Typically though, I guess most of the time that I have worn this, it has blended in, or at least I've never noticed that it was this white casty. So this is new. This is the first time I've applied it in the bathroom in front of the window. I guess because I dress in the dark, I probably never even noticed. But during the day, I've never noticed my face looking too white. So, and I also applied a little bit more than I normally would in the video. But this is how it looks. I like it still, again, because of that powdery finish. I think for some people this might be like too much. So if you have, I guess if you have dry skin, you have no reason to use this. It's advertised for oily skin. But the formula definitely, I won't say it's the best, but because it's a more matte sunscreen, I would happily use it on like the center of my face. And I won't typically carry it out to the edges of my face, like the edge of my face. I will use another sunscreen there, and I know like that's a bit much for some people using two different sunscreens, but because it is matte, it's worth it, and also it's fragrance free as well. Another thing that I do I like to use my this is my Me Plus, so I like to use my Me Plus SPF 30 booster. This is from my local Superdrugs. Superdrugs is like, I guess, the equivalent of, like, I want to say Walgreens. If you think of Boots, I mean, most people know Boots in the US. So Superdrug is like a direct competitor, so they do a lot of other, you know, skincare related, healthcare, all that. This is the SPF booster, and it's basically your sunscreen. It actually has two of the sunscreens in here. It has octocrylene and homosalate, and if you use the right amount, you get the equivalent of SPF 30 protection. This is called a booster because I guess it's supposed to be used on top of your skincare, or maybe by some people maybe mixed in with your skincare. I wouldn't recommend mixing it because then you're just diluting the SPF that you're going to get. But if you have like a problematic sunscreen, or like a problematic sunscreen or formula that you don't quite love, this, looking at the ingredients in it, it's suspended in like these esters and like these fatty alcohols that I think make it easy to blend. So I sometimes mix it in, and sometimes I also add it on top, and I also use it on my hairline as well. So if I'm applying a sunscreen with a particular texture that I don't love, I will add a few drops of this, because this is a sunscreen in itself, but it's just like it looks like an oily serum. It's not oily, it just has this slippery texture to it, like a dry oil basically, kind of, yeah. So as you can see, everything is blended in mostly. And what I also like to do with all my sunscreens, once it's applied is to let it set for, you know, like 15-20 minutes. It is active, I'm not waiting for it to activate per se. It is active on contact, but just so those that film, that protective film that, you know, on a molecular level we can't really see it happening to the open eye, but that film, the protective film that it's supposed to form, if you leave it for that 15-20 minutes supposedly, is what I want to happen. I don't want to disturb that. And then what I would do is to blot and or set and or apply a primer, depending on what I'm doing for the rest of the day. So those are tips that I would definitely say. If you're an oily girl, you definitely want to follow those steps. At the very least, apply primer. At the very least, blot anything from your face after like 15-20 minutes before you, if you're not doing anything, and definitely if you're going to put makeup on, unless you like a glowy finish, then you don't need to do that. But that's what I like to do before I go with my primer, because again, this is the skincare stage. If I was going out and I needed to apply makeup, I would blot just to get rid of any excess glow, but blot gently, and then go straight in with my primer or powder or makeup, whatever I'm feeling or whatever I have time for. But I would definitely blot. So as you can see, I don't think there's a wipe. Actually, there might still be a tiny bit where I didn't like wipe my hairline properly. But on my face, I think at the very least there's like the tiniest, if there is any at all. So this, you definitely want to try it. SPF 30 booster with antioxidants. Actually, I think it does contain vitamin E and probably 1 or 2 other antioxidants. It's a really great option. I wouldn't say mix it into your moisturizer and think because you would not be creating a sunscreen if you're going to do this. Definitely don't do that. But if you have like a sunscreen which has a texture that isn't quite blendable, or that dries too quickly, or is patchy, this could be a good option for you. Yeah, so obviously do your research as well. I'm not a dermatologist or a cosmetic formulator in any sense, so don't trust anything I say. But that's what I found helped with using this. And also using another sunscreen. You can also make sunscreens, that's always a thing. I've seen dermatologists recommend that as well. But just make sure that the SPFs are the same, because it just helps with the level of protection, so you're not getting patchy protection, like you're not getting 50 here, 30 here, 45 here, that whole thing. So yeah, so these two are both SPF 30. and I like to use this with this. But let me know if you've tried this and you live in the UK, or anywhere really. Just let me know how you found it. Did it leave a white cast, and what did you think of the texture? Because I like it. Again, because it has that powdery finish, I would prefer to not really mess with it too much and just go with my makeup. But because I'm not wearing any makeup today, I'm more aware of like the slight white cast that is there, which is why I went in with this, and also showed you an option of using the sunscreen stick as well. And also don't forget, do not apply it near your eyes, because most people say it irritates. I find it irritates not on contact, but if it gets into your eyes. So yeah, I've told you everything, plus my life story and how I got here. So that is everything. Hope you enjoyed this review. Hope it was thorough and I touched on all the points I wanted to touch on. If I didn't, I will definitely be in the comment section. Please do join me there if you have any questions, and if there's any other sunscreens you want to try, or if there's anything else you want to ask, let me know and I'll see if I can help, or I will direct you to a very reasonable source. So yeah, until next time, thank you so much for your support. If you've been watching my channel and if you're subscribed, thank you so much. If you're not already subscribed, please do, and so you don't miss my next video. So if you are subscribing, don't forget to hit that bell as well, so you don't miss notifications when I do upload, because YouTube will let you know so you don't miss, and nobody wants to be the last to know. So yeah, until next time, stay blessed, have a great morning, afternoon, evening or night, wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.